Peace, peace, peace. Hey, my boy Ka and Rahul Bat. I'm just coming on here. I'm checking out my sound, making sure everything is playing all right. Let's see if you can hear this.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
I guess you can't hear that, but I'll play that.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? So rotten. Can you feel it?
Echo one, echo two.
Can you feel it? So rotten.
Music only, music only. Okay. See if that's playing. Let's see if I take that off. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Hey, 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 hey. Just seeing if everything is working. So let me see if I can pull up on my phone. I'm just checking out the sound. See if you hear that. Man, out of work, I'm only sitting on the bed. So I could do some podcasts here from the bed, the comfort of the bed. I have the desk over there with the Dell top, so I could do it that way. But I'm using my laptop. Let's see if I hear that. Just bear with me. Like I said, I'm doing testing. Here it is.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? So rotten. Can you feel it? So rotten. Can you feel it? So rotten. Can you feel it?
We're working on this one here. This is the E. I go to Facebook, right? So let's see. Let's go to Facebook. I'm going live here. Oh. 1 second. Let's do this instead. Let's mute. Let's try this again. Let's try this again.
Can you feel it?
So it's working. Okay. All right. Everything seems to be working perfectly. Great. I even have my echo. Yay! Everything is working. Wow. I finally figure out how to wire all the stuff. Okay. Now, let me just build a little. So we spoke about the tones. You know what's important about learning these tones is that frequencies, something that happens frequency, the waves are going on frequently. That's frequency. Frequencies affect our very lives. So waves, which is sound, and also intention. So frequencies and intention equals healing. It's like vocalization and realization equals manifestation. So it's important to learn the tones of different language and linguistics and the tones, especially when you start learning, when you start approaching certain language, lahaj, with an esoteric teaching, and you use it, and the idea is to learn these lahaj, these languages, so that you can create the environment around your neighborhood and your house and everything. I was a witness that, like I said, the minute you walked down Myrtle Avenue, came into Bushwick, it was a wholly different tone. It was more of an Arabian tone, Arabic tone at that time, because of Islam and the Ansars. And so you heard a lot of oud, Hamza Deen playing, and everyone was learning. You hear the Quran, you hear the Adhan, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Hayya Salat, calling people to prayer. So when you enter into this neighborhood, it kind of reflected tones and the frequency, right? So, using this science, which is the science of kinesiology, I'm going to bring it up, see if I can share these things on my laptop, all right? Real quickly, because I want to do this podcast more extensive, you know what I'm saying, and being prepared to bring up some stuff. However, I am prepared. Give me 1 second here. Bring that up. That we already have spoken about this tone here, which is the glottal ah tone, like saw, right? Ah, the heart center. It's glottal. It's a ah sound. Ah, not an ah, but an ah. This, when you study about tones and frequencies, you get to, and different other cultures, you get to see that this sound represents the heart, and it represents the higher frequencies. In other words, God or the higher deity. The and also right? It represents life, and also it's like when you first take that breath, or you go or when you see people transition, You know what I'm saying? Or it's a different tone. It's that tone that resonates. And then again in sacred science, together with the so it's used throughout all the sacred community. The Ain principle, the which is equivalent into in Arabic the Ain. The Ain. So it's the glow to sound. And it should be natural about it. And it's represented here. This is in also in Musbatiyat, Sabaic Lahaj, Musbatiyat Lahaj, right? And Wu Sabat. This is the sound of right? And it's also, when again, we have spoken in the other podcast about that. But let me see if I can share something real quickly, because like I said, this is really a test. I'm testing things out here. Share. So let me bring up something here. I have books that I look into. You can always check out different sources out there, let's see, I'm bringing it up. This is the spiritual teaching of ancient Egypt. I don't want that one. Just give me a second. I'll bring it up. Okay, here it is, right here. Okay. Let me see. So, Bradford Tony. This is a great book. Okay. Feelings, intent, is for using. Okay. Kinesiology. Let me bring this up. Okay. Let me share this with y'all. Give me 1 second. So let's see if I share my screen. Share my screen. This is what I'm sharing, right? I'm going to share this. So sharing this whole thing here. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's look at this here. There we go. You probably can't see me. So kinesiology is the method of muscle testing that allows a practitioner to determine the strength and the weakness of organs, bones, and acupuncture meridians, even in what they call the chakras or the centers, the sacrum, right? In relationship to different substances such as foods and drugs. Now you can even it can also be used to check whether a sound is beneficial for us. That's a study, right? Right? Kinesiology. Intent, the importance of intention, intent. So this is a good reading, and maybe later on. Remember here frequency and plus intent equals healing. It's the attention that you put. So that goes to say that stop sharing here for a minute. Okay, stop sharing that. So that goes to say that the intention that you put behind these tones are very, very important. You know what I'm saying? So if you're using the tone, the intention behind that should be appreciation. So you visualize, you vocalize, and you visualize appreciation for everything around you. So that opens up the heart energy center. So what I'm using is this musbat tones, right? On sound, sawut, right? Forgot the word for tone, but I'll get it. And using that so as to us to create our own spiritual system or our own esoteric, our own system. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we borrow from many different other systems. You can acknowledge those other systems, but we ourselves need a system, a renewing, a refreshing of the system. And this I learned from Baba Yanin back then when he was doing the tones through the Arabic, but we wasn't quite there yet. And the children developed Nubic, right? So we wasn't quite there yet. But now now in this time, we have the ability, we have a Lahaj, a language, and now we're developing our spiritual system where we be able to use those tones in our Lahaj to create, to manifest what we want to manifest. Okay. And so when we get together and we start vocalizing the chants, right? Vocalizing the chant in its proper way, then we start, you see it, and the intention that we put behind it will strengthen us. And this is not only for those that call themselves Sabaeans this time, and Nuwapians. This is for the planet, the whole planet. This is a galactical thing, okay? This is because all these cultures can practice this, but then when is it gonna come to the whole humanity as a whole practicing the system, So we as a whole, when we recognize these tones, it says, oh yeah, in this culture, I could recognize the I can vocalize that with their Ein principle, the right? Together. So as to create a planetary tone. You know what I'm saying? Once we create this planetary tone, this is humanity. This is how humanity vocalize, and we can manifest and hopefully create, the right environments with tonality. I mean, I was speaking to my mom today, and I was telling her, a lot of people that are sick, overweight and sick, listen to the music they're listening to. It's bombarded with so many different frequencies and sounds. It's almost a little detrimental. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting older and I'm figuring this out, because I listen to rock. I listen to Rush, Depeche Mode, Rolling Stone. I listen to that at this moment, as proper moment. And I listen to Santana, right? And I see Santana's progression. I listen to Stevie Wonder and his progression, and Contusion from Songs of the Key of Life. So I listen to that hard stuff, right? But there is a time and place for that. You know what I'm saying? There's a time and place. What about balancing that with the more esoteric tones? You know what I'm saying? And learning about other musical expressions. We got to educate our children. Certain jazz, classical music. Again, appreciation for other types of music will help our community, and you see the change. You see the change in people according to what they're taking in. Tones, they're taking this in, these waves and tones. And like I told you, I take in tones not only through my ears, but I visualize it. I can see tones. I forgot what they call that, but that's I wouldn't say a gift, because sometimes it could be a curse, you know what I'm saying? Because they're nightmares, but depending on what you're listening to around you. So, this is a practice too. Like I once said, my aspiration was to become an acoustical engineering. And when you deal with acoustical engineering, the city employs acoustical engineering sometimes for zoning for different sound. That's the reason why when you work construction in certain areas, you have to wear like headphones that blocks the sound, certain factories, certain places, because that bombardment of sound can be detrimental to not only your hearing, but your body in general. It comes in through your hearing, but it affects the whole body. This is a science. This is somatics. Again, I can bring that up. This is a great book. Let me introduce this book here. Let me go back here. So this book, damn it, is Chakra Frequencies. Okay, and it's by Jonathan Goldman. I'll bring it up later. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to test my sound. So my sounds are pretty good. Here's my bow, my tune sound, my bow. This is the nut, and backwards is tune. Remember? This is it. This is that higher chakra. And then when we come to the crown, right? And when we come to the crown, is the represented by the conch shell. Yeah, here's a conch shell. When we came to the heart, remember we talk about the violin, the saxophone, and the accordion. Okay, these are the instrumentation for this heart energy center. Yeah. Okay, and I try to play "A Love Supreme" by John Coltrane, but it got muted unless you go to my YouTube. Folks, go to my YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube, because sometimes if I'm playing music or I'm playing content, okay? Now, where's my notes? Somewhere. One second. Just want to make sure that I'm playing the right tone for you on the piano. The F sharp. That's the F sharp. That's major. Has a loving tone to it. So you can experiment with it. You know, get yourself a keyboard, sit down. This is the F sharp. Tune your voice to that, and the tone from back, the throat tone. Get to know those tones. Ah, shook. Ah, shook. Ah, shook. Ah, shook. Ah, shook. Remember, because it has the glow to that and it goes to the the diphthong. We're going to discuss that too. I'm going to bring up definitions of diphthong and stuff like that. But the next one that I wanted to work with, and this R sound also in the Arabic language, R sound represents the opening. Again, right? Ta, the opening. Ta, fatah, the opening. Okay, it is Suratul Ikhlas, the ahad, right? And we'll go more in depth into that. And I wanted to bring up So you got E, U, right? The is the fatha, the E is the kasra, and the U is the duma in Arabic. We study, you know what I'm saying? And the fatha is the opening, right? The opening, right? Then you had the E was the cracking, E feminine, cracking. And then you had the O, which is the duma, was the stretching. So a lot of this, again, when you learn this and the attention behind it and all of this plays, so when you say, you're opening your heart energy center for appreciation. No? Okay? I wanted to drop this one on you just briefly, and then I'm going to stop. And this is the oh sound, and it's on the solar plexus. The oh, like go, and that's the E. Oh. So here again, you concentrate on the solar plexus where the navel is at. Now this is the beginning stage. We're going to take this even further as to use lahaj language, the tongue, lisan. You want to use this tones to your benefit. So when you're speaking it, you're creating a manifestation. The word of power. You know, this is an ancient Kemet taught this. Remember, I said was looking the word of power. Word of power. So when you resonate and you recite, it becomes stronger because the intention, all the affirmation, the information, all of that comes to play. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll take it up. So we got the o, and of course you got the I, like I, and that's representative of the throat. I, and that tone is G. Take it down. Remember, I'm a male, so and my tone's gonna be more deeper. There's some that even go deeper than that. And then you have okay. So those are. So this is just the beginning of where we want to take this. And a lot of this information you can find all over. Like I said, you know, this is study. You know, this is information you grab from other cultures and from experience. Also, you know, learning about what is it? Tajid in Arabic, not Tawheed. It's learning the different tones and different levels as to create manifestation. The Catholic use it also. For those of you that are Catholic, Christians, when you go to a Catholic church, listen to the tones that are being generated, the manifestation. You know what I'm saying? They want to create that ambience. right? You got the organs, you got the ambience, and you have the, the recitation of the Latin in these tonalities, right? Because they understand vocalization, visualization equals manifestation, and frequency plus intent equals healing. So this is about healing. It's about healing the world. You know what I'm saying? Taking it back, you know what I'm saying? And this is just the beginning. There's many studies, you know, and like I said, experiences. As the musicians, there are times that, I'm on stage, I'm playing with certain musicians, the tonality, when the tonality is right, it manifests and it just springs. You know what I'm saying? I use it also to tune my drums, tune them. You could tune your conga drums, even your drums, your physical drums, you could tune it. You know what I'm saying? But I tune the conga to a certain frequency. You know what I'm saying? So I know, and I think in South Africa they found these stones, big stones like that, and they didn't know what it was for. But when they hit it, it gave the tone, and they're like, "Wow, where did that come from?" You know what I'm saying? Some alien stuff. You know what I'm saying? Look at the movie Third Encounter, Fourth Encounter, something like that. Tonality, and these tones and frequencies is, again, it's manifestation. But like I told you, I'm gonna, from here on in, gonna go through the energy centers and align certain tones to the energy center, especially the Muspatria tones. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning that language and learning that. And like I said, it's cultivating our nature, not nature from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? This is our nature. We have to cultivate our nature. But anyway, peace and blessings to everyone. And if you have any suggestions, anything that you want me to research, or you have any information you want to drop, by all means, please, I'll put it on the chat. That's nice. Got a few people watching on my Facebook, and for my my cousin Richie. Oh, when you play a song you like over and over, that's your tone. It could become your tone. That is right. That's right. I revisit sometimes my youth by listening to some music like Stylistics, Dramatic, the Delphonics. You get it? Delphonics. So I listen to a lot of these, and it takes me back, that youthful feeling. And it's good to do that, you know what I'm saying? But it is also to create your tone. For you to find out your tone, the best thing is to stand at the corner of the room and hear yourself. Again, that's the reason why I'm doing this, because if you lose the sound, that's my tone. And you do it enough to feel comfortable. So you hear my tone coming out. Sometimes I speak with a higher voice, loud, whatever. I'm learning to focus and to just let it flow. Ooh, do that at the corner of the room, and so you can bounce back and hear it, and you get to know your tone, your voice, and you get to see where you're resonating at. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, we can pick up certain frequencies by, again, what we hear. And salsa, we like salsa, or which is really mambo, you know what I'm saying? And you see how salsa has a certain rhythmic and tone to it. You know what I'm saying? R&B has a certain tone to it. The boogaloo, classic, all the music has a different tone. For when the orchestra plays, right? They will give, the conductor will give a tone for everybody to sync with that tone, and certain instruments like a sax, A would be a C in another instrument. You know what I'm saying? So our bodies are the same way. My E sound or is my F sharp. This sound can be somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? They're not in tune with that, so they go up here. But what about the out of tune and on the F? They're out of tune because it's the F sharp that you want to tune into. That feels more natural. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, a lot of people, the more music, the type of music that they listen to, it becomes their frequency, their wavelength. But what happens is that wavelength is coming through that music they're listening to. It's tuning their bodies differently. That's the whole dancing is all about. You know what I'm saying? So it tunes their body. They move differently. They even speak differently. You see how the youth speak today, and you see all these words and their tonality and the way they speak. You know what I'm saying? It's when you hear it, you get to know how much rap and trap music they're listening to. You know what I'm saying? And time changes, you know what I'm saying? But the point is that everything around you could change, but you got to be the center of that change. You have to stand on your axis. So you have to there are planetary tones, humanistic tones that we have to cherish, appreciate, and be instructed, be knowledgeable about, be instructed about those tones. You know what I'm saying? Once that happens, and once you're there, you can go anywhere in the world, and you can sink in and with any culture around the world, planetary, galactic. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the center, you're the axis of it. You know what I'm saying? That frequency and tone. Anyway, let me leave you. Let me go here, but yeah. I'm just playing around with different chords and stuff, That's just a bunch of tone. And that's a particular scale, right? If I do the C, right? But the F, and the F, it's a major key in the F. So if you don't have a keyboard, see, it's bringing on that up. Anyway, thank you very much for those of you listening. Raul back, Ramasu, brother. Why is Siri? Not now. Oh boy, this computer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm sharing. You know what I'm saying? I understand what people say. Teach. I'm sharing information. Again, everybody knows. Yeah, I'm a musician. Musical. I always resonate with music. And I had a many discussion with Dr. York about music. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get too much involved in his passion or anything like that. But I was around playing congas all the time, you know, with Abdul Fattah, may he rest in peace. He was once one of the nobles, Abdul Fattah, Marcelino's brother. And we used to sit a lot in the fruit stand and we used to play conga. And a lot of time, Dr. York would come back from the studio with certain songs he was working on, and they would bring it to me he had a cassette. Everybody know what a cassette is, with a Walkman. A Walkman, they'll bring that over to me and I'll listen to it. And he's seen the expression on my face with, hey man, you know. And then all of us remember that we had an intercom system and we had a radio station. And Dr. York used to get on and practice all these tonality, and he extensively spoke with me about that, about how he was learning his tones, his voice, through learning the different, what they call tawji, am I saying it right, tawji, the different sessions of reciting the Quran. And he used, and I had tapes, man. He used to put on some there in Mecca and in Sudan and some of these tribes in Turkey, the way they used to recite the Quran. As a matter of fact, he had one of those recitations, I think for Eid al-Fitr. I want to come down and recite it in the mosque at that time, you know what I'm saying? And man, and he was learning this, and it was helping his voice when he came out and did listen to the song. It's Only a Dream. Listen to his voice, the way he resonates. It's only a dream. These are a lot of tonality that are in, again, sacred science. And when you bring that out, people catch that. And you create that ambience of nice, soft, or beneficial tones. You know what I'm saying? We got to balance. Like I said, I listen to rock, man. I like rock. You know, I played also with Rico Monaco. We played with Sammy Hagar. We opened up a lot for him. We play a lot of Santana stuff. I listened to rock. You know, I had blasting the electric guitar in my ears for a long time. Then Gary Williams, the funk and the softness. You know what I'm saying? So I swing both, you know. But the way I really resonate is with I love doo-wops. I love the old stylistics and Delphonics, dramatics. Man, that music back. And then my mother's favorite was the Flamingos. I Only Have Eyes For You. I played that for her. You know, so I take it way back. I love vocalization. What they call barbershop, you know, singing choir. But I like the at that time, you know, the street corner or the hallway, and brothers vocalize. We used to do that with percussion. We used to vocalize our percussion in the hallway and let it resonate. But, you know, that's how I resonate. You know what I'm saying? And I know in today's day and time, you know, I don't know who's out there. I mean, you have Boys to Men, who's vocalizing very great, Boys to Men. I played with the Backstreet Boys. You know, I didn't do too much with them, but Howie Doro, and I seen the way he vocalized. That was cool, but they're learning that a lot of that came from Boys to Men and groups like Jodeci and groups like, oh man, they got a lot of groups at that time. I listened to that. I go further back because of my age, but I listen to that also. Today's day and time, you know, there are artists out there, you know, I like mainly the female artists. I think they're doing much more, like Hair, all great. I listen to independent stuff like Umi, great vocalization, Umi. So you got Hair. You know, then I could swing over to European Barcelona with Rosalia and her flamenco type of style of vocalization. So I got a wide range of stuff. Bad Bunny, one of the hottest sellers. Tajweed, yes, thank you, my beloved Tajweed. I'm forgetting. But anyway, you got Bad Bunny. His voice is what's making him, man. He could say whatever he wants, but just the fact that he had learned his tonality, the tone of his voice, he mastered that. So he could put it on any type of music and it resonates. People hear it because they're like, wow, people know when you master the art of tones, and they are all over. James Brown mastered his voice at a very early age. James Brown had a unique, then Prince came along and he did it. Michael Jackson was constantly, as a young child did, and then constantly he had to, through vocal coaching and Quincy Jones and Bruce Sweden, who I worked with, he had to adapt to certain tones. You know what I'm saying? He was working with his voice, his tones all over again at a later age. So not to get too much out of the subjects about that. So I want to say that this, from here on in, it's a matter of, again, learning, using a language, Lahaj, and using that as the focal point and seeing how that resonates and how phonetically, linguistically it's aligned with other sacred or other Lahaj languages in that area. And then in Africa, the tonality is different in Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's part of Africa, Lahaj, Afrikaya Lahaj. It's part of that. You know what I'm saying? So again, let me get going here. Well, peace and blessing to everybody. I'm looking at my Facebook dial, man, love and hearts. Oh, man. And I appreciate everybody, okay? Peace and blessing. I'm out.